My name's Wolf, and through this series of videos I'm going to introduce you to the crazy over-the-top world that nerds like me love so much, that is Warhammer 40,000. So get comfy, buckle in, and prepare for a Noob-Splaining session. So before I get any further into the video, if you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, it means a lot to me. Also a reminder for UK and EU viewers, I have that link to Element Games where you can get your discounted 40k and other gaming products. And for my US viewers, I'm still looking for a US based game store that will ship anywhere across North America. So if you know of one, please put their name in the comments so I can contact them. Also, please check out Baron of Dice for their top quality custom dice, like these Tyranid ones, which is appropriate, because that's what I'm Noob-Splaining today. So let's get into it, shall we? The Tyranids, also known as the Great Devourer, are the biggest threat to not just the Imperium of Man, but well, pretty much everything. Most of the factions in 40k have a long, detailed history, but very little is known of the Tyranids' history and their origins. The first Hive Fleet, known as Behemoth, was discovered more by accident than by any kind of early warning system the Imperium has. The Imperium lost all contact with a planet called Tyranid. When Inquisitor Cryptman arrived to find out what was going on, what he found was very shocking and confusing all at the same time. All organic matter of the planet was gone. Literally, every last scrap of life, be it human, animal or plant-based, along with anything else organic like clothes, paper, etc. Yet none of the weapons or valuable metals had been taken, which ruled out the nearby orcs that had been committing acts of piracy in the region. After finding a few more planets in the same state, he realised that the Imperium has just encountered a new species that has come from outside the galaxy and is headed straight for the Ultramarines' homeworld. So, cue a huge race to get a warning out before the Ultramarines all get nommed. Let's face it though, Ultramarines have more plot armour than the Millennium Falcon and the Battlestar Galactica put together, so if he'd sat in his arse, they would have been okay. As the first planet they destroyed was called Tyran, Inquisitor Cryptman named them Tyranids. That was one hell of a brainstorming session, I can imagine. So folks, it seems we have a new alien race on our hands that has completely destroyed the planet Tyran. We need to warn the Smurfs, I mean Ultramarines, but before we do that we need to give them a name. Any suggestions? Excuse me sir, how about Tyranids? Tyranids, excellent. Now everyone, let's go to the pub. Sir, shouldn't we warn the Ultramarines they're coming? Absolutely, and the pub has free Wi-Fi so I can send them an email. So far, all that has been learned about the Tyranids is they are from outside our galaxy and consume all organic matter that they can find to produce more Tyranids. Half of the theories is that they were bioengineered. The other half is that they evolved to become this, but what all groups do agree on is they ate everything in their other galaxy before they came here. On the tabletop, they are very much a melee-based army. They also happen to have some units that shoot, but by far its strength is getting into the opponent's face and then eating said opponent. In the lore, they are always depicted as coming in massive swarms, sending wave upon wave of creatures into the defenders. Now do not let this simplistic depiction of a lack of tactics fool you. Tyranid units come in a well-balanced range of small cheap cannon fodder like Ripper Swarms or one of the many variants of Gaunts, to expensive killing machines like Carnifexes and Screamer Killers. With the exception of one model, Tyranids do not have any named characters. This is because each creature is connected psychically to the others in one giant hive mind. Similar to the Borg, they have absolutely no individuality, and the hive mind is a very cunning tactician. Those waves of troops throwing themselves at the defenders? Well, they were expendable troops probing for weak spots, and if they can't find one, then the hive mind will just create creatures to tunnel under the defenders or fly over them. They had a set of rules that if you killed the bigger creatures, it broke the link to the smaller ones, who would then attack the nearest unit, which 99% of the time still worked out to be an enemy unit, but it was a nice touch. The lore about them is they keep creating troops to adapt to each battle. The practicality of this isn't feasible, so they have a nice long list of troops available for any situation. My first experience of Tyranids was Christmas '89 when I got the first edition of Space Hulk, which is still one of the best standalone board games Games Workshop have ever produced. However, that only had Terminator's first Gene Stealers, but it did set up the Gene Stealers as the ultimate hand-to-hand murder machines they are. The Tyranids also featured in Advanced Space Crusade, with Tyranid warriors making an appearance. When 2nd edition 40k hit shelves in October '93, the Tyranid Codex wasn't far behind, and they soon gained a reputation that if you didn't fill them with all the bullets really quickly, your troops' pronouns are soon to become ingested, digested. The Tyranids' whole thing was they come in a massive swarm, consume everything organic, then fuck off to the next planet and do it again. Just like, God, there are so many punchlines I could add there, but it just feels too much like low-hanging fruit. Anyway, there's a reason I keep saying the Tyranids just want to eat you and your friends. It is their only driving factor. The Tyranids don't give a shit who or what you are. If you're organic, you're getting eaten. Simple as that. They even have their own mission to represent this swarm-like nature. Now, most missions, you and your opponent are vying for control of one or more battlefield objectives, but Tyranids don't care for things like strategic victories. They have hungry bellies to fill. So they would get a mission where the whole objective was your opponent had to survive for 4 turns. Meanwhile, any Tyranids you killed, as soon as you had enough back in your dead box to create a new legal squad, you spawned it in at the start of your next turn. Playing against the Tyranids as the game progressed, you would feel it was more and more hopeless against the sheer numbers, because as soon as you'd wipe the damn things off the table, they were back again in the next wave, and I would like to see this mission come back officially for 10th. If it doesn't, then I'll make the damn mission myself and put it out there for you all to use. The Tyranids are by far the faction that feels like it is the biggest threat to pretty much everyone in 40k. On the tabletop, they are the faction that is most representative of its lore. All the other armies have a big disconnect from how they are depicted in the lore. The Space Marines are portrayed as nigh unkillable super soldiers, but on the tabletop they can be killed, and it is easier than you would think. I completely decimated a 2000 point Blood Angel army on the first turn and board wiped them by the third. With the Tyranids, as fast as I took them off the board, the damn things were lining back up in their deployment zone for another go. It was like that time fighting with the US Marines in the bars in Japan. They couldn't wait to do it again the following night, regardless what the military police told them. But just swarming a planet, although is the most common way Tyranids go about things, they also have a couple of other tactics. First, they will send units like lictors ahead of scouts, who will stalk and kill any defenders on low protected worlds, or low population worlds, ready for the fleet's arrival. Cue horror stories of murderous creatures. The other way, which is even more frightening, is by sending G-Stealers to set up a cult that over the course of 3 generations will bring down a planet's defences almost entirely. So when the 4th generation is born and sends out a signal to invite the fleet over, the planet is primed ready to receive the incoming Tyranid fleet, with open arms, meaning they are not wasting organic matter on troops in a war for a planet and have a planet-wide buffet ready and waiting for them. So although individually each Tyranid beast appears to be a mindless, bloodthirsty, hungry killer, when connected to the hive mind, they have an intelligence way beyond anything we could imagine. And with the ability to spawn millions and millions of troops at will, both in the lore and on the tabletop, you can't help but feel that if the Tyranids have come for you, fighting back is futile, and you and your friends are going to be lunch. Overall, in my opinion, the Tyranids are one of the scariest armies to face, because you didn't know if that swarm mission was going to come into play until after both sides had set up their troops and the game was about to start. Now, the original models were an absolute joy to paint, and these new sculpts look even better, and I can't wait to lay my hands on some. To see the Tyranids back in the limelight and getting a push as 40k's current biggest heel fills me with joy. What am I saying? No, it doesn't. It fills me with dread, as every single Tyranid is absolute fucking nightmare fuel with claws and teeth. So next week, I will be reviewing the My Little Pony deck building game because 40k has just become too scary for me. And there we have it. Don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. Better still, if you know somebody who could do with a bit of noob-splaining on Warhammer, and share this video with them. And at any point, if you learned something or laughed, then please hit that subscribe button. I won't ever be doing a Patreon or a merch store, so that subscribe button is the best way you can show your support and thanks from me. On the tabletop is most like how it is represented in the lore. That sounds shit.